Let's see how things go. I'm hitting the button to start the live stream. We'll start for real in about 35 seconds. But so far, so good. Cross your fingers, everyone, that we have a fun and good tech problem-free live stream. I don't think that'll happen. I think we will have a few problems along the way, but so far, things are working good. We'll start in 18 seconds. Let me double check some things to make sure they're working. Did I put the link to the form in the description? I think I did. There it is. Awesome. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, I can't remember which button I clicked to start the live stream. I think I normally do this one on a Saturday. I don't do these as often as I used to, but welcome everyone to this live English lesson. Let me make sure my camera is awake and alive. Good to see all of you here on a Saturday. Yes, I do have the outdoor camera set up. You can see that we had a very windy and rainy evening, and it's still a little bit windy out there. The weather forecast was extreme amounts of rain. I don't think we got extreme amounts of rain here, but I do think that it certainly rained. You can see the puddles in the driveway. Here, let me put myself up here in the sky. Then you can see the driveway a little better. But yes, it definitely feels like spring now. So that is quite fun to see. By the way, welcome to this English lesson where you can ask questions. There is a form that you can use to submit your question. Please use that form. Nightbot also just shared the form. I hope it's the correct form. I'm pretty sure I got everything set up properly this morning. I do want to double check that the stream is working. Sounds like things are working well. Let me know in the chat if there are any technical difficulties, and I'll try to troubleshoot them, but we'll see. So yes, it feels spring-like outside. You can see I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, but I am wearing an undershirt. I am wearing a t-shirt underneath because it's still a little bit chilly in our house. I mean, we have the heat on, but the wind always makes our house feel a little colder. We have a few drafts. And I see Hafiz saying there are some drops on the camera. Yes, the camera facing outside. It's if you look at the top, you can see a few raindrops on the window. Let's see here. Who is in the chat to say hi to? Mode is testing out the link. Thank you, Mode. Hi to Hafiz, Sug. I was going to say Nightbot, Nuralam, Lolly Lolly, Mary, Anna is here. Freddie Wolf is here as well. Redfish and Crawfish, Maverick, Simon Zoo. Very cool. Simon Zoo says, I saw your videos in some social media platforms. I'm wondering if they have copyright to do this. No, they don't. So I do have my own channel on Bilibili. That is my official channel. Anything else you see in China is being used without my permission. So that's just the way life is sometimes. Not a whole lot I can do about it. But if you can, tell everyone that you know that if they go to Bilibili and search for Bob the Canadian, they'll find my official channel there. Let's see here. Unsel says, a breathtaking view. It certainly is a nice view outside. It's even better if I get out of the way. There you go. Now you can see the ominous gray sky in the distance. You can see that maybe we will get a little bit more rain today. We'll have to see. Anyways, we should do some questions, shouldn't we? Let's do the outside view of the questions. Let me see if some questions have showed up. Oh my, there's already 14 questions. I better get started. So this is from Anil. I don't know how to say this. Tell me some Indian names. I don't really know a lot of Indian names. I am drawing a blank here. I know mostly English names, so sorry about that. I'm sure if I visit India someday, I will meet lots of wonderful people and I will learn their names. Anoop says, why you don't like doing but you need to do. Or what you don't like doing but you need to do. So are you asking a personal question? Things that I don't like to do but that I have to do? Well, the dishes. I do not like doing the dishes. And I do not like paperwork. Things like filing my taxes for my income tax. I don't like doing any of that stuff. But some of those things are things that you have to do. You have no choice. Let's see. Tushar says, I like to see conversations on this channel. Well, I did do a couple live streams with Brent from American English with Brent. That was fun. We did that a few years ago. I'm just going to go and cough over here for a sec. Excuse me. We're not going to view the outdoor too much. Just let me text Jen for a sec. Let me see here. I'm going to go and say, hey, can you come and get Walter? Walter seems to have found something and he decided to eat it in front of the camera. So I'm not going to go into too many details. You can ask me in the comments at some point. Maybe Jen will help with that. So yes, when you live on a farm, sometimes your animals find dead things. So he found, looks like a dead bird or something like that, and he's eating it in front of the camera. I'm going to stop talking about it now because it's pretty gross. Anyways, let's do some questions for a bit. Yes, I will try to do a few more collaborations. I know Teacher Mike, I made a little clip for Teacher Mike's video this week, Teacher Mike English, and he asked if I would be on his podcast or do a live stream with him, and I said maybe in the summer. I'm a little busy now, but we will see. Here we go. Ideas for spoken English tutors. So I am thinking of putting together a package of things that teachers of English can use to make their classrooms better. I have a few ideas, and one of them would be a series of things like that. So just a sec here. I'm going to see if I can... where am I looking here? Here we go. This is Bob makes a phone call while doing a live stream. That's maybe Jen will answer, maybe not. We will see. We'll find out. Sometimes she doesn't take her phone when she goes outside, so we'll see if she responds. Nope, she's not answering her phone, so maybe we'll just have to continue with the lesson and we'll figure it out. This is like actual English speaker in action, real life. So Jen does not have her phone on her at the moment, so we'll have to go. Ideas for spoken English tutors. I do have a list together now of like 50 conversation topics if you're teaching English, and I'm going to put that into a nicer package, and it might be available on my store at some time. From Toda, who are your most regular students on YouTube? There are a few regulars. I actually know more of the regulars from my other channel, Bob's Short English Lessons, because I respond more to comments there and get to know people. I don't want to say any names, but if you go over to that channel, there are a number of people. And then a lot of my members on this channel I know by name. Freddie Wolf, Mode Ags, know that, Lolly Lolly, Hafiez. If I scroll back and see here, I have Ralph Island Resort, Duke Depp Try. Some of them I know a little better than others, but certainly if you want to know who the real die-hard English learners are, go check out who comments on the other channel. Let's see here. From Shanu, can you dance? Yes, but I'm not very good at it. I'm not a very good dancer. But yes, I can definitely dance. I have gone to dances. I have danced at weddings in Canada. When there's a wedding, often after the wedding ceremony, there is like a reception, it's called, and there will be lots of people there dancing. So you will definitely, if you went to a wedding and I was there, you would probably see me dance. It's not the most amazing thing in the world to see, but yes. And then from Toto, can you sing? No, like I can sing in the shower by myself when no one else can hear me, but it's not something that I do regularly. So yes, I can sing, but I'm not very good at it. When I try to sing a song, the notes are slightly wrong and people can't tell what song I'm singing. So yes, I can sing. Let's see. From Renata, bonjour Bob. Pourriez-vous, s'il vous plaît, prononcer ces mots? Agile, facile, hostile, and mobile en anglais. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Passez une excellente journée. So there you go. Agile. We don't use the word facile very much, so that's more of a French word for me. But hostile, mobile, and agile would be ones that I am familiar with. Let's see. Next question from Hung. I'm a fan of role-playing games, but one day I asked myself, what made those games so fun? Can you apply those games elements to areas of your life to make it more desirable? So role-playing games are games where you pretend to be someone else. So you can play like something like Dungeons and Dragons, or you can play games where you pretend you're something other than what you are. They're actually a good way to learn English. They're a great way to learn how to do things like that, how to learn English and stuff like that. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to be back in 1 moment, okay? I'm back. Okay, good. Let me just double check to make sure everything is working right. Oh, it's funny when I go to the view, I just see an empty chair. So hopefully I arrive in that chair soon on my screen. There I am. Good. Everything's working. Okay. Let me get the next question on the screen. Sorry, Hung, if I didn't do a really good response for that one, but that's a tricky one. From Natalia. Hi, Bob. What does it mean, the gift of gab? Sorry, the gift of gab is the way I say it. You have the gift of the gab. Usually there's no the. Do you know anybody who has the gift of gab? Thanks. Yes, I have a few cousins. I have a few friends. There are some students in my class that have the gift of gab. In English, when you say someone has the gift of gab, it means that they are really good at talking. If you go somewhere with them, they talk a lot. They very easily can talk. I don't really have the gift of gab. Like, I seem to have the gift of gab because I talk a lot on my live streams. But sometimes I'm in situations where I don't know what to talk about. It can be a little bit challenging. Mode in the chat says, one time I assumed that Bob the Canadian was not a good dancer, but it turns out this old man can actually cut a rug. Boo-ha, baha, muhaha. That's how I'm trying to say the laughter. There is a video where I dance, just for a tiny bit. There might be 2, actually. You'll have to look. From Passar, how can I learn English? Well, it really depends on what level you're at. If you are a beginner, you need to just flat out learn some vocabulary. You need to start watching really simple English lesson videos on YouTube. You might need to find a teacher that can help you get started. But basically, once you know enough to read a little bit and to understand a little bit of what you're hearing, you need to make sure you do a lot of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Like, do all 4 of those things to make sure that you are practicing all of those. From Alex, we have, hello teacher, can I say I like weaving the beads? Thanks in advance. We would probably not use the. We would probably say I like weaving beads. I like reading books. I like eating pizza. I like running marathons. So generally, we do not need an article in those situations. I like walking outside. That was a bad one. I didn't have the right words in there. But yeah, I like pizza. I like running marathon. Those are all good examples. So yeah, take the out and then you can totally say that for sure. Let's see. Henry from Taiwan says, hi, Teacher Bob. What does delusions of adequacy mean in English? Thanks a lot. So when you have a delusion of adequacy. It means you think you're good at something, but you're actually not. A great example of this would be if you watch a TV show like American Idol. On American Idol, contestants come on the show and they sing, and most of them think they're really good singers, but some of them aren't. They would have delusions of adequacy. They believe they're good at something. They believe they're good at thinking, and they're not good at thinking. Or, sorry, good at singing. I don't know why I'm saying thinking. So, for instance, if I went on American Idol and I thought I was the most amazing singer, once I started singing, everyone would realize that I have delusions of adequacy, that I'm not actually very good at it at all. From Hamzo, hello, my teacher. Why, when I try to read something in English, I get bored so fast? It probably depends on what you're reading. I often recommend when you first start reading things in English, read things you are interested in. If you like fishing, read about fishing. If you like photography, read about photography. It's important when you first start reading that you make sure you enjoy the reading, because it's more than just English. I have trouble when I'm reading in French if I read something that's not interesting to me. But I do think you should read things that aren't interesting to you at some point. You should force yourself to read some things. But certainly make sure you are reading, like if you like food, maybe read recipes and learn to cook some food. Read recipes in English, the instructions for making that food. Do that. That would be very helpful. Let's see here from Alyssa. Good morning, Mr. Bob. I've got a question once again, and could you please tell us if there is any difference between get used to and to take plus ing? So when you get used to something, it means it's normal for you. When I first started driving, I was very nervous, but then I got used to it. I'm using the past tense there. When I first started eating spicy food, I thought it was too hot, but eventually you get used to it. I'm not sure about the second part of your phrase. Take to something maybe. Yeah, when you take to something, it means that it's slightly different. It means you're getting good at something. Like, he started playing badminton and he really took to it. So I'm using the past tense there. It means you started to really like something. So I hope I'm answering your question well, Alyssa, hopefully. Let's see here from Judith. Hi, Bob. How are you? If you made one, what would be the plot of your action movie? Who would you choose to be the actor for the main role? I would choose Matt Damon. And the plot would be, let me see, someone comes to Canada and they don't realize how cold it is. No, I don't know what the plot would be. I can't think of a plot for a movie off the top of my head. But certainly if I did write a movie script, I would ask Matt Damon to star as an action star. I don't think he's too old yet. I think he could still do a good job. I mean, Tom Cruise is still doing it. By the way, Judith is asking about this. This is related to yesterday's topic. We did a live stream yesterday on action movie vocabulary. It was a good topic. I really, really enjoyed it. So you can still watch it, by the way. And a shorter version is coming out tomorrow. From Jane, what did you eat for lunch? I haven't had lunch yet today. In fact, I haven't even had breakfast yet today. It's 10:17 a.m. here. I got up this morning. I actually ate a lot of food yesterday. We had pizza last night, and I got up this morning and I didn't actually feel hungry. So I haven't eaten yet today. When I'm done this live lesson though, this live English lesson, I will probably go and eat something. I'm not sure what, maybe some eggs or something like that. We'll see. But no, I haven't eaten yet today. From Ario, hi, how are you? Good, Ario. How's your weekend? Anything special? Question, could you please recommend to me family movies to watch or animated movies to watch? Friday lesson was my fave more. Well, I've always enjoyed the Kung Fu Panda movies. I'm not sure if you're looking for kids movies, but I've always enjoyed the Kung Fu Panda movies. I've watched all of them, I think. There's a new one out right now or coming out soon. So that's what I would recommend. For sure. I would recommend the Kung Fu Panda movies as good family movies. Let's see here. Mode says, thanks in advance. Hi, Mr. Bob. How would you use the construct ever so slightly, and could you please explain it? I don't quite understand what it means. That's it, short and concise. Eh? So let's say there's a picture on the wall and it's crooked. You just have to move it ever so slightly and it will be straight. You don't want to move it too far. Let me see another example. When you're driving along the road and you start to go off the road, you don't want to jerk the steering wheel hard. You want to just turn it ever so slightly to get back onto the road. I'm trying to think of another example here. Yeah, like if you're playing a sport and you want to pass the ball, instead of kicking it really hard to get it around the defender, you might just kick it ever so slightly. So it means to do something gently and with precision. I think that would be my best description of it. And in the movie, I think Freddie Wolf's talking about that. Bob will eat a banana for sure. Oh, you're talking about my breakfast. Sorry, I got that confused. Yes, when I'm done this live stream, I will definitely be eating a banana. Let's see here. Another thing I'll say, Mode, is the live stream's working well so far. The number of errors that I'm getting is going up ever so slightly. So I have 121 drop frames in 20 minutes. That's not too bad. It's not going up rapidly. It just went up ever so slightly. So I guess it isn't always about doing something gently and with precision. It's just a small change in something. Let's see here. From Daya, what are a few things that you don't like about yourself, if any? So 2 things, I'll be brutally honest with you. I eat too much. I have to work very, very hard to stay healthy. And I wish I didn't like food so much. I'm not overweight by a whole lot, but for me, it's like I love exercising and I do like eating, and often I eat too much. Second thing would be, I don't like the fact that I can't sing. I think it would be really fun to be a good singer, and I am not able to sing. Should we watch Jen walk in? There she is. She's just coming from behind the tree. She doesn't know she's on camera right now, but she went out to take care of that problem I talked about earlier. Here we go. From Viet, I use laziness to my advantage by making things I want to do more convenient. So I added my. How would you use your laziness to your advantage? What situations you want to use it? Thanks. So laziness is an interesting thing. So one way I use laziness to my advantage is I often have good ideas for English lessons if I wait long enough. So sometimes it can seem like I have to make a video for this coming Tuesday, and I haven't started on it yet, but I haven't had a good idea. So sometimes I will be lazy because I'm waiting for a good idea. Most of my good ideas come when I'm walking though, so that's not being lazy. But sometimes laziness allows your brain to maybe subconsciously, like you're not actually thinking about it, it's happening at the back of your brain, to think of things. And then, yeah, so that's how I would use laziness, definitely. So from Sifen in Kurdistan, hello, Teacher Bob. What's the difference between I'm bored and I'm boring? So that's a great one. I did do a lesson on this a couple of years ago, and it's a common mistake. If I say I'm boring, it means that when you hang out with me, you're just not having fun. Like, as a teacher, if a student says, oh, Bob, you're boring, they mean that they fall asleep in my class because I myself create a room that isn't exciting enough for them to learn in. If you say I'm bored, it means you are feeling unexcited. Like you just aren't. Like when I read a book that isn't well written, I'm bored. When I sit in a class and the teacher isn't dynamic and energetic, I'm bored. But I would say the teacher is boring. Okay, so there's the difference between the two. Hey, if you're one of the 392 people watching, welcome to this live English lesson. I am Bob the Canadian. I do live lessons one Saturday a month and every Friday morning at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In fact, yesterday we did one on action movies. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. There's a button somewhere. And if you see people with names in green, those are people who are members. You can click the join button to explore that as well. Let's see here. Yan says, thank you for reading my question. Please teach me how to interpret well. So there's a difference between translating and interpreting. So translating is when you read something and then you write the translation. Translating is when you listen to what someone says and then you take some time and then you explain in your own language what it was, or vice versa. Interpreting, though, is like a professional type thing where you are helping two people have a serious discussion when neither of them speak that language. So I guess translator and interpreter can be the same thing. But when I think interpreter, I think someone who works at the United Nations as an interpreter, someone who takes people on a tour of their country and they act as an interpreter when they need to talk to people. So you have to be really good at translating quickly. So the best thing to do is to practice, and you can kind of practice by listening and in your own mind converting it either from the language they're speaking into English, or if you're listening to English, into your own language. But I am not good at thinking that quickly. I think I would need a lot of training, professional training. Like I would need to take a course to become an interpreter. From Oliver, how to use of and for, find that these two prepositions are quite similar. Yeah, I would need to do a whole lesson on that. Because it's even different in different places. Like I think in the UK, they say at the weekend and we say on the weekend or for the weekend. Like I went away for the weekend. And I think in the UK, you might say I went away at the weekend. So yeah, that's a bigger lesson. That's a bigger question than I can answer here. I can give you some examples though. One is I'm going to buy special glasses for the Eclipse on April 8th. Or I could say, let's see, what's a good example of the two vans I have, I like driving the red one better. That's not a great example, but it is an example of. By the way, the Eclipse is going right over my house on April 8th at 3:18 in the afternoon, somewhere around there. I'm just thinking at this point, I'm thinking of live streaming it. I'm thinking of getting the proper glasses. I'm thinking of buying the proper protection for my one camera and then have like the Eclipse on that side of the screen and me on this side. I'll be home from work by then. So if you think I should stream the Eclipse, it's literally happening right above my house. The track of the Eclipse in North America, I'm right in the center of that, basically. So I'm going to have an amazing view of it. So in the chat, tell me if you think I should live stream the Eclipse on April 8th with all of the proper safety gear in place, of course. So let me know in the chat if you think I should live stream that. I think I should, but I have to figure out, I think I need to buy like welder's glass to put in front of my camera. And then I already have at school a pair of the proper glasses for an Eclipse. So we'll see. I think I can do it if my internet works properly. Today it seems to be working pretty good. Next question. Oh, so in the chat, people are saying eclipse. An eclipse is when the moon goes across the sun, and the eclipse is happening on April 8th. So Hafiez is saying live streaming the eclipse. Yes, please. So we'll see. That would be great. So we'll see what I can do. Duvi, hello, Bob. How are you? What do you think about the development of AI? Do you use it to serve your work? I haven't used it a lot. I've actually done more work on how to teach so students don't use AI to teach. Like I've done a lot of reading and research on that and implemented some things in my classroom to prevent it. So I myself have not used AI a lot. And I don't really plan to. I like having my own ideas and doing my own thing. So if AI eventually takes over teaching English, that's fine with me. I'm only doing this for 7 more years anyways. But we'll see. I think where it does serve people well in the English learning world is eventually, already now a bit, you can have a practice partner. But yeah, I enjoy speaking to my French speaking partner because they're human. So I don't think I'll replace them with AI. Like there's something about, it's nice to talk to a human, right? A human can share their experiences in life. They can share things that an AI can only really fake. But anyways, Natalia says, of course, try it. I will do that. Yeah, I'll go buy the equipment I need. I think I just need a number 8 welder's glass. That's what I need. You know, welding is when you use electricity to bond steel together and you have to wear a welder's mask. I'm going to buy the plate for my camera. We'll see. Okay. Nam says, money, happiness are not money, happiness are not taught much at my school. How should we spend money so that we can get the most happiness from it? So we just had a question about of and for and from. So in this case, it would be the most happiness from it. So here's a few things. One, when you earn money, so I'm not an expert on money, but this is my opinion. When you earn money, you need to take care of your basic needs, right? You need a place to live. You need food. You need clothing. You need heat in the winter in your house if you have winter. There's certain things you need as a human being. Those need to be satisfied first. Next, you do need to have some fun. Okay. Fun doesn't have to cost money, but sometimes it does. You can have fun just talking to people, which costs nothing, or you can have fun going out to eat with people, which does cost a bit of money. So I would say you need to spend money on things that allow you to enjoy other people and to have fun. And then lastly, I would say, this is all the way at the other end, save a bit for retirement, but also if you can, donate some money to places that do good work in the world. Okay. Jen and I are not wealthy, but we do donate to a number of charities that help people in the world who are less fortunate than us. Mode says, live streaming the Eclipse would be such a unique experience for sure, but you have more things to worry about. I think sharing some pictures is better if you want to capture it more accurately. Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes I think it might just be the thing I know how to do is live stream. So it might simply be easier to just go outside and live stream it. We'll see. I think it might be fun. I haven't decided yet though. So we'll see in a bit. Hey, I think we need to go to members only chat mode. By the way, if you don't know what members only chat mode is, if you are a member of my channel, then during every live stream for about 10 minutes, I switch the chat to members only mode. You don't need to leave. I'm not shutting you out if you're not a member. We will go back to normal chat mode in just a bit. But if you are a member of the channel for the next 10 minutes, you may ask a question. Membership is explained. If you click the join button, it'll show you a little video and give you some more information. But basically, you get an extra video on Wednesdays, a nice little lesson plan every Monday, things you can do during the week, and you get your name in green during a live lesson, and you can ask questions during the live lesson directly in the chat. And you get a little crown as well beside your name. So if you have a question, you should ask it in the chat. I'm going to go to this camera and I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to have a sip of water while I wait for questions. I will answer a few more from the queue as well. There's a lot in there. Let's see here. Let me go back to my question form. I'll put this one on the screen. Here we go. From Redfish. Good morning. What is your favorite movie? Mine is Super Mario Brothers movie. So I've often said one of my favorite movies is The Martian with Matt Damon. I read the book and I loved it. And then I've watched the movie. I think I've read the book twice, once in French. I think I've watched the movie twice. I watched it again during the pandemic. Definitely one of my favorite movies. So let me just check something here. I want to make sure things are working. There we go. Good. Next question from the queue. from Nastaran. Hello, dear Bob. I always watch your videos. They are very useful or very helpful, and my progress in listening is incredible. Well, I'm happy that I can help with that. That is awesome to hear. I'm glad that I have been able to help you. There certainly are a lot of videos to watch if you're watching my videos, for sure. An overwhelming amount. Someone told me the other day in a comment they were going to watch 7 of my videos a day until they've watched them all. That would be awesome. You would learn a lot, but it's going to take some time to do that, for sure. From the lifelong learner, school play a pivotal role in one life, but school is just a tiny chapter in a bigger story. What skill do you think that school fails to teach students? And can I learn them outside? So I fixed a few things as I read that. One of the things school fails at sometimes, in Canada at least, is we don't do a good job of teaching students how to manage their money. We teach students a lot about business and math and all those kinds of things, but we are trying now in Canada to teach students how to make a budget, how to look at the amount of money they earn every month and how they spend that money and to spend it wisely. So that's one thing we haven't done a good job of. I think the other thing we haven't done a very good job of is in North America, students often only speak one language. They do learn some French in Canada, but I wish North Americans all spoke 2 languages fluently. I think there's a lot of value in learning a second language. And in most places in the world, people speak more than one language. It's very common, but in North America, it's not. So that would be one of the things. In the chat, Doobie says, oh, and then Doobie says, I want to improve my English. How much would it cost for you to agree to one-on-one tutoring? So I don't do one-on-one tutoring. I have done some 5-person classes. I have not had a lot of time to do that lately, but I do that. Just let me check something here. I wonder if it's my outside camera. I don't think my outside camera is actually on. I think it's shut off and you're just seeing, look at the trees not moving. The reason I say that is because the dogs are outside and you can't see them right now. Let me just see if I can get it working again. I think we've been spending some time, I'm just going to go to my webcam on my desk and then back to the outdoor cam. There, now the trees are moving again. So there we go. Let's see here. The question was from Doobie, one-on-one tutoring. I just, at this point in my life, don't have time for that. I might do Friday lessons with small classes of 5 again if I have time. But for me, this has always been a lesson for me in time management. I know I have time to produce videos and do live streams. One-on-one lessons, I just don't have time for. So it's not something I've looked into doing. And what would it cost? There is no price right now because I wouldn't be able to do it. If I was to do it, if you went to a website like Preply and look at what's kind of like the average cost to hire someone, I would probably charge around that. I mean, I wouldn't charge the highest amount or the lowest, but something reasonable. Let's see here. From Freddie Wolf, Bob, I wonder if since you were almost attacked by stray dogs while out walking, you carry repellents to avoid getting hurt. I've actually walked a lot at home and I've just avoided the place with the dogs. It's quite far from my house. The day that I went on that walk a few months ago when the dogs came out, it's about 2.5, 3 kilometers from my house. So I've just avoided going there, but I have not. People suggested that I buy bear spray or repellent. I have not done that. I'm not even sure it's legal in Canada. I'll have to check. Let's see here. I need my glasses for this one. Modags, how do you pronounce, and then there's a word that I don't know. I would say passerine. I don't think I would say passerine. And now I have to look it up because I don't know what it is. Passerine. Oh, it's a bird. Oh, very cool. Did not know that. Yep, don't know how to pronounce it. I learned something new today. From Amran. Hi, Amran. Hello, Bob. How's your day? My question is, what is the difference between your fate and your destiny? So destiny always has kind of like a positive feeling to it, like your destiny is to become king of England, or your destiny is to save the world someday, or it always seems positive. Fate can be either, but it, to me, like your fate is that you will have problems with your live stream. I can't think of an example. So to me, destiny is a little more positive. They both refer to things of great importance that will happen in the future. Hafia says the trees are frozen. Yes. So that camera was on for like 2 hours. So I wonder if it just went to sleep. Let's see here. There's Jen and the dogs outside. Duvy, Freddy Wolf, Mode Eggs, Amran, Hafiaz, Lolly Lolly. Do you plan to have hives one day and collect the bees' honey? So people have suggested this to us many times, and it's similar to the question, do you do one-on-one lessons? It's all a matter of time management and balancing. So at this point, we're not planning to have bees. Maybe someday when I'm a retired gentleman farmer, I might get some bees. But right now, no. Let's see. Wanda says, hi, Teacher Bob. Since you said that you like singing, do you used to go to karaoke? Thanks. So I wish I could sing. I like singing in the shower or when I'm working by myself, but I cannot sing very well at all. So I would not ever do karaoke. Eva says, hi, Bob. Do you still make private video messages? I will need one soon. Yes, I do. Although I don't think I've done one for a month, but yes, I do still do them. Afiez, if I write a short story or a novel, would you be willing to read it? Possibly. I don't want to read something and correct mistakes, though. Like, I don't really have time for that, but possibly if you wrote something. If it was very well written and ready for people to read, I would read it. Doobie, thank you for answering my question. No problem. Freddy Wolf, I saw there is an AI application that allows foreign language students to interact with real teachers with their own voice, but generated by a robot. What do you think about that? C'est intriguant. Yeah, I don't know if I like it. I'm aware of it. I'm aware that some teachers are allowing that company to use their voice and they probably get some money in return. I'm not sure I'm willing to let an AI sound like me, because I think only I should sound like me. I would be willing to have an AI that knows everything I've ever taught and acts as a tutor, but I don't think I would want it to have my voice, because I think that's, I don't know, I don't want to say anything overly negative. It's not for me at this point in time. I don't think I would be interested in that. I would certainly do one-on-one tutoring before I would let a company use my voice. Mode, I think it's more like a family of birds, similar to birds of prey, but passerines are cuter, of course. Yeah, I think you're right. You're probably right, because you asked me about the word. Lolly Lolly, merci pour ta réponse, Bob. Pas de problème. Pas de problème du tout. Let's see here. We should get another question from the forum. Bents. Hi, Bob and everyone. Would you enjoy an audience meeting with YouTube viewers? So I have considered doing a meetup at some point in time. A meetup is where you say, I'm going to be in Toronto on this day if you want to come and meet me. If I did it, though, I think I would want to do it with one or two other English teachers from YouTube. I'm not sure I would want to do it by myself, but I've thought about it. We'll see. Jen and I someday may travel, and then when we travel, I might do little meetups in different cities around the world. But for now, this is it. This is what you'll get. Let's see here. Ralph says, yeah, replacing, copying any kind of existing human behavior is bad. I don't like it either. But, you know, Ralph, we might just be, well, let me speak for myself. I might just be too old to want to do things that a younger generation of English teachers might do really well. So we'll see. It's certainly an exciting time to learn English using the internet, that's for sure. Duvi, do you plan to stop teaching offline classes to focus on developing your YouTube channel? No. So I've mentioned this a number of times before. In order for me to have good ideas to make videos for you, I need to live an exciting, varied life. Do you know what I mean? Like, in order for me to have an idea for next week, Friday's lesson, I need to go to work. I need to be around people. I need to live the life of an English speaker and see the world of an English speaker in order to find the ideas for the lessons. If I ever quit teaching to focus on YouTube, I think things would become a little bit boring. I wouldn't have much to tell you. I wouldn't be out of school. I also think that as a teacher, I'm trained every year to learn new techniques, and then I can use those on YouTube as well. Don't tell my boss that I'm using the training they give me to be a better YouTuber. But no, so I don't think I'll stop teaching at a high school anytime soon. I think that that will continue for probably for as long as I do YouTube. I'll be working at some level. I also have a lot of years under my belt and a pension and things that I'll get when I turn 60 or 65 that I want to make sure I keep paying into. Okay, let me turn off members only chat for a moment, and then we'll go back to all subscribers. If you're one of the, whoa, how many people are watching? This is a very popular live stream today. Almost 400 at one point. Okay, right now, 413 right now. Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk for another 15 or 20 minutes. If you're new here, there is a subscribe button somewhere. You should click it. Let me get a new question on the screen. Did I answer Bence's? Yes. From Freddie the Frenchie. Hi, Bob. Would you mind making sentence examples with another and an other and explaining the differences? By the way, both. Merci, génial. Apparemment, la connexion est stable. Yes, it seems to be okay. Knock on wood. Sometimes I knock on my head as a joke. So another and an other. So if I have a cookie and I like it, I might have another. All one word. Okay. Those cookies were yummy. Can I have another? But if I was to say, I'm trying to think of one, like if I did that on an other day, like as in different day, that's a tricky one because I think in my brain, I mush those two together and I'm not totally sure on when I do separate it. Because you could say like an other person. Yeah, I think my English brain doesn't worry about it. So I'll have to look this one up. I think I often probably use an other, the separated form, when I probably use another all the time. So if you mean a different noun, then it is more appropriate to use an other. If you mean an additional noun, then you use another together. I'm trying to say them differently. Yeah, I think I gave fairly good examples, but I'll have to think about that one a bit more. That's a great question. I'll make a note of that one. From Denis Bob, do you have an interesting story from your teaching practice? A meeting with your former student years later, a touching letter from another part of the world. Sure, I'll tell you an interesting story. A former student of mine contacted me on Facebook a couple years ago and said, your videos are great. This is, and then she mentioned her name, a former student of mine. I'm currently living in Korea and I'm teaching English as a second language in a Korean school. And I use your videos all the time. So every once in a while, I do hear back from a student. Sometimes too, I'll hear back from a student and they'll say, oh, I went into this field because you taught me computers and I wanted to learn more. And I realized that I don't always believe I do important work, but sometimes you realize, oh, teaching is a very important job. It does really help other people. Let's see here. Mode says, I don't think an other exists. I think it does, but it's like, you know how English changes over time. It's probably just gotten mushed into one word. Latana, do you speak with your normal speed when you make videos or in live streams? So when I make videos, I speak about 5 or 10% slower, but I do that naturally because when I teach, I do that. Even to English speakers, I usually try to speak clearly. When I do my live lessons on Fridays, I speak a tiny bit slower, but probably a bit quicker. When I answer questions, I'm sometimes close to my normal speed. And on the Saturday live stream, I'm often speaking my normal speed. Like right now, I just went into normal speed. Hopefully you can follow me. So yes, I do sometimes speak my normal speed, but I try to still speak clearly. Let's see. From Fox, animal question. Please say the following words: air, hair, bear. They are pronounced very similar, aren't they? And one more word for you to say: owl. Thank you. So air, hair, bear. If I was writing a poem, I was out in the fresh air. I was trying to find, wait, let me think of this. I was out in the fresh air. I was hunting the elusive hare when I was attacked by a bear. There, there's a little poem. So it does rhyme. All of them are said the same way. And then an owl is a large bird of prey. Interesting. Mode mentioned birds of prey in the chat earlier. A bird of prey is a bird that kills other birds or animals. An owl is a bird of prey that usually hunts at night. I think they're nocturnal, but this isn't a science lesson. Sorry, wrong button here. From Sali, hello, Teacher Bob. Glad you're here again. What's up with the farm? So let's go to the river cam view. Things are starting to green up. You can see the lawn is starting to turn green. We actually do have some things that are starting to pop out of the ground. Some tulips and some early, like daffodils, are out actually. They're about this tall. I'll maybe put them in a video this week. Jen is preparing to plant things outside in about a month or two. It's too early for that, but we do have a lot of things growing in our basement and in our garage right now. That is what's up on the farm. Hafia says an otter. Yeah, and then a little picture of an otter. An otter is a small wild animal, so that's a nice joke. April has the next question. Hello, sir. You need an O on that word, eh? Otherwise it's a bad word. Hello, sir. What can I do to remember new vocabulary? So I'm often recommending two things. One is use the vocabulary at least 10 times or 5 times. Like use it in a sentence. Use it in your next conversation with your English speaking partner if you have one. Write it down. Say it out loud. Like you have to use the word. There's websites that will help you find videos that say certain words. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe someone can put it in the chat. The second thing is just flat out memorize it using flashcards. Like make a set of flashcards and do, spaced repetition where if you know it, it goes in one pile. If you don't know it, it goes in a practice pile. That's the simplest version. But just flat out memorize it and definitely use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. In English, we often say that about things. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't play soccer regularly, eventually you aren't as good at it. So use that vocabulary. Ahmed says, can you help me learn English? I speak Arabic. You can watch my videos. You can come to these live streams, and I will do the best I can through those two formats to help you learn English. Lolly says, what is your worst pet peeve? Merci. I have several, but the thing I hate the most is when people talk during a movie. So if I go to a movie theater and someone around me talks during the movie, that really bothers me. So that's just one of them. I've probably mentioned several in my life. I don't like litter, like when people throw garbage out instead of putting it into a trash bin or something. From Xiao Yan Park, is it better to repeat the same material many times? Is it better to study with different new material even if you don't understand everything? So both. So learning a language is about repetition. If you were to watch an 8-minute English lesson on YouTube, you should watch it 2 or 3 times, okay? But you should change how you watch it each time. So I would say watch it once with subtitles, watch it once without subtitles, watch it while reading the transcript when you need to. Like, make sure you're actively making it practice when you do it. But you should also be progressing. In order to progress, in order to get better, you have to do things that are harder. So let's say you're reading children's books and you have a set of 10 and you reread them all the time. That's awesome. But eventually you will have mastered all of the vocabulary and you need to do something harder. So repetition occurs, but you need to keep moving up in the world. Does that make sense? So repetition, yes, but you do have to increase the difficulty as you go along. Doobie has given me a super chat. Thank you, Bob, for the wonderful things you have contributed to the community. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Let's see here. From Unsel. Hi, Teacher Bob. Do you prefer cooking to unwind? What was the most difficult recipe you've tried? What was the result? Have a great weekend. Bye. I'm trying to think of I made, what did I make? I made any kind of souffle. I tried to make a chocolate souffle once and it rose and then it kind of fell down. So that was probably the most difficult thing. Things that are easy to make. I love making homemade pizza crust. I like making cookies. I like trying different things for sure. But yes, I do it to unwind, but also because I like eating. Monsieur Tuna, I wonder if we can apply math probability in any talks. Can I use plus and minus in the IELTS exams? If you were me, how would you use it in conversation? Thanks. So plus and minus. So we talk about pros and cons. We talk about ups and downs. I think my outdoor camera just powered off. Did the picture freeze again? I think it did. It just said the battery was going dead and it turned off. I thought it kept the battery charged while you use it as a webcam, but some good testing if I do use it for the Eclipse. But you can also say something has its pluses and minuses, but mostly we say pros and cons. Plus and minus in terms of like a regular English conversation, I don't use it very often. Like, I think I almost always use them for math. So that's just me. There might be ways to do it differently. Andre Padron, hi, Mr. Bob. I'm happy to be able to attend your lesson today. Good to see you here. You recently said, consider subscribing to my channel. Can I say, consider to subscribe to my channel? No. So you could say, hey, consider subscribing to my channel. There's a button here. You could also say, consider. No, to me, that's the way to say it. You could say, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd like you to consider subscribing to my channel. But no, you can't say consider to subscribe to my channel. We don't use the to in the infinitive there. So it definitely goes to the ing version of the word. Bell, sorry. Hi, Bob, China here. So glad to meet you. It is so hard to memorize up-level words. What should I do? Thank you so much. Yeah, so for me, what works the best to learn new vocabulary and remember it, I learn most of my words when I'm practicing French by reading or watching TV and kind of keeping a personal dictionary. And then I try to use those words somehow. So for instance, if I watch a show and I learn a new word and I write it down, the next time I speak with my French speaking partner, I use that word somehow. I might even just say, hey, I learned a new word. J'ai appris un nouveau mot la semaine passée. I learned a new word last week. It's this. The dictionary says it means this. So in English, I would do the same thing. Use reading and watching YouTube videos or TV shows as a source for new words. Make sure you do the academic job of looking it up, but then definitely find a way to use it for sure. And then anytime you can take a word and draw a drawing beside it, it can help you remember it as well visually. So do that. Let's see here. All my cameras are turning off. There we go. From Avril Lavigne fan. Avril Lavigne's Canadian, by the way. Do you want to learn a new language? What would it be? At this point, no. I'm still, after decades perfecting my French. But if I was to learn a new language, I would love to learn Dutch. I wish my parents had taught me Dutch. I think I answer this question differently all the time because I'm human. That's how you can tell I'm not an AI. Because I think in the past I've said, from a strict business perspective, I would love to learn Chinese because Canada and China there's a lot of trade. So it would be advantageous to speak that language. Julie says, mimicking your short English helps listening. What's your suggestion for improving speaking? Thanks so much. So there's a lot of ways to improve speaking. One way is to just read things out loud. You need to improve the muscles in your mouth and how you move your tongue and your lips and use your throat to make sounds. So even just reading out loud is important. Obviously, having a conversation with someone is important, an English speaker. Singing out loud can be quite helpful to improve your speaking. Talking about what you see around you. So right now, if I was doing that, I would be like, the dogs just came out of the barn. Jen is coming out of the barn. It is cold outside. The trees have no leaves. The grass is turning green. Whenever you can narrate your life, so you're not talking to anyone, you're just describing what's happening around you, it can be quite helpful. By the way, the dogs did come out, but it's hard to see Walter because he's very dark. Okay, next question. I got 10 left. So Nazmal, I'm not sure here. Women are as beautiful. This is as hard. Switching off water can save as much water. Was as in the adjective means it's not as adjective as, by the way. So these are structures where, women are as beautiful as a flower. Sorry, I'm not good at coming up as examples. This is as hard as drilling a hole in concrete, okay? Or switching off water can save as much water as not using the water at all. So there's a few examples of those types of sentences. I should do a lesson sometime on, as good as hard as small as big as. So the as type descriptions. I'd be able to explain it a bit better. I'll make a note of that and see if I can do a lesson Nazmal sometime soon. Agnes, can you tell us something about the education system in Canada? Thanks. Kids can start school as young as age 3 or 4. They can go to junior kindergarten and then kindergarten at age 5. They go to schools in Ontario, grade 1 through 8, age 6 to age 12 or 13. And then high school is grade 9 to 12. It's age 13 or 14 up to age 17 or 18. So that's it in a nutshell. Our school day in Ontario is from 9 to 3. Teachers obviously work a longer day. And after high school, students will go to college or university, depending on what they are deciding to learn. That's my short and sweet description. Hey, I'm going to keep going. I just have a few questions left. And we'll wrap this up. I might go a little quicker. From Sin99, hi teacher, I hope you have a fantastic day. Can you talk a little bit about, I don't know what LMIA is, but I do know about work permits. I want to come to your country to work. Thanks, teacher. So if you want to come to Canada to work, you need to go to the website from Immigration Canada, and you need to do a search for how to get a work permit to work in Canada. I said I know a little bit about this, right? That's as much as I know. And you're best off getting your information there because it will be official and it will tell you what you need to know. Ralph says, +1 for the as lesson. Very hard to learn. Yes, he was as quiet as a mouse. He was as big as a tree. Yeah, I'll do a lesson on that. I think I can think of something fun to do with that one. So hopefully that helps in 99. Go to the official government website. From Orman, hello, Bob the Runner. How are you? Do you drink treated water or you drink from Brita? You know what about water cooler talk place where usually gossiping happens? Yes. Okay, let me talk about this a bit. The water I drink is from town, and I drink it straight from, we bring it home in jugs, and I drink it straight from there. We do have a Brita in the fridge, but I don't often use it. My kids use it more than I do. A Brita is a small pitcher of water that has a filter in the top that filters it. And yes, there is this thing that at places of work, there's a water cooler sometimes, and people stand around the water cooler to talk or to gossip about what's happening at the company. That doesn't happen at my work because we don't have a water cooler. So from Fatima, hi teacher, I'm at a stage where I listen to the news and it makes sense to me. But when I want to speak in front of someone else, I usually fail to speak fluently. So the suggestion for this I usually give is you need a coach or tutor or speaking partner that helps you prepare for those conversations. So it's way nicer to speak English regularly with someone who's helping you, so that when you go to have a normal conversation, you have lots of hours of practice under your belt. So for me to go and speak French to someone, I have many hours of experience speaking French with my French speaking partner. And so that just makes me more confident and it will just be easier. So you need to find a way to practice in a safe environment where someone isn't going to make fun of you, but they're going to help you. So look for a speaking partner. Let's see. Don't know what this, I'm going to skip the next question because I'm not sure what it means. Shota says, hi, thanks as always. What would you say the clear typical differences between American and Canadian English are in words, phrases, pronunciations, whatever? So almost zero difference depending on where the person is from in the United States. If you watched the English lesson that Brent and I did last summer together when Brent visited, you can hear a slight difference between us, but we noticed very little difference. So I do say words like, you know, sometimes people say, Canadians say the word about differently. In Michigan, they say like my name is Bob, but in Michigan, they said it more like Bob. Like they kind of lengthen out the O and gave it a bit of an A sound. But when Brent was here, he said Bob. So it depends on where you are from. In terms of spelling, though, there are words that we use that we add use to. So color, honor, labor, those are all words that in America, they don't have that U in the second part. So much bigger question though. From Azat, hello Bob, are you a fan of the Maple Leafs? Yes, definitely. I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I have been to a game. Brett's in the chat and says American English is better. Yes, for sure. I would have to disagree with Brent on that one. I think they're the same, Brent. Anyways, as I said, when Brent and I did our live streams together, as an English learner, you would have trouble telling the difference. If Brent was from Britain or Australia, I think you would hear a much bigger difference. But Canadians consume a lot of amazing American culture. We watch a lot of American TV and we watch a lot of American movies. We listen to a lot of American music. And so the Canadian accent is very closely related to the American accent, Canadian and American. They're not the same, but they're definitely very similar. So highly recommend or strongly, we need an N in there, recommend, they're the same. Yeah, I highly recommend that you watch parts of this video again in a couple days. I highly recommend when you watch a good YouTube English lesson, like if Brent puts out a good lesson, watch it twice. So I strongly recommend that you do that. I highly recommend that you do that. They mean the same thing. Good question. Pinky Chew says, have you recently watched some movies? Which is your favorite? No. But I am probably going to see Dune 2 at some point. I did watch the first Dune movie. As I mentioned yesterday, I have watched all of them. I've read all the books and I've seen the first movie. I'm looking forward to see the next one. Hey, Ruslan's usually the first question. Hello, dear teacher Bob. No question, sir. My mouse clicks the thumbs up button itself when it sees your video. Best wishes. Thank you. Yeah, you can give me a thumbs up if you want. That does actually help my channel do better on YouTube. I'm not sure if you knew that. If you ever wanted to help me, there's a few things like as a YouTuber, giving a video a thumbs up, leaving a comment, watching the entire video doesn't just help you. It actually helps me as a YouTuber. I'm not sure if you knew that. When you watch the entire lesson, it tells YouTube that it's probably a good lesson. But if I tell you to watch the whole lesson and then you do it, does it actually mean it's a good lesson? I don't know. That's too philosophical for me. Anyways, I appreciate it when you give me thumbs up. That's awesome. Let's see. Last question, I think. Yes, this is the last question from Pavel. Hello, Teacher Bob. I've been learning English for several years. I'm going to add a 4, but I don't like writing. I mostly try to improve my speaking and listening skills. So not everyone likes writing. You know, it's easy to read, it's easy to listen, it's easy to have conversations in your own language as well. I remember a long time ago, I helped a friend of mine build web pages for people. And the hardest thing for us to do was to get the business to write paragraphs and descriptions for the web page. Like if we needed them, tell us about the history of your business. You were better off phoning them and typing it yourself. So writing is always something people don't like to do. When you're learning a language though, look at writing as speaking practice, okay? So when you write, you are actually practicing on your own the ability to form sentences. And instead of saying them, you're just writing them down. So going back to the questions too about how do you improve your speaking skills, one way is to do some writing. Leave comments under videos if you just want to do a little bit of writing, but definitely a good idea. Do a lot of writing. Hey, that's the end. What did I go? Oh, I went a little longer. Oh, that's okay. You know, we had 121 errors over an hour and 11 minutes. So that's good. If you're one of the 424 people watching, I would love it if you subscribe to this channel. If you missed this lesson from yesterday, a shorter version, about 25 minutes long, is edited and will be uploaded later. I was going to say it's uploading now, but that would make my internet not work at all. It will be uploaded and available in about 12 hours, I think, maybe a little longer. Do watch that. Watch it twice if you want. It's always good to have some repetition. Anyways, thanks for being here. I'm going to get going and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I'm glad we had almost no tech problems. That made me feel better. So let me say bye to a few people. Get my glasses here. Bye to IND Legend, Kadisex, Anderson, Mode Eggs, Pikachu, Madi, Renata, Garov, Philippe, Reda, Anderson, Jose, Ruslan, Ralph, Freddie Wolf, Gabriella, Renata, Ulia. Let me go to the other screen here where people are saying bye. Bye to Judith and Texu and Redfish, Renata, Judith, Biggie Punk, Ishmael, Lolly Lolly. I'm repeating people now. That's what usually happens at the end. Pikachu, Suzanne, Duvi, Maria, Mimi, Ralph, etc. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are all awesome. Have a great Saturday, whatever's left of it for you. And I'll see you. Go make a video about as and as for Tuesday, maybe. That'd be a fun one. I can think of a number of places I can go. If I was as small as a mouse, I could fit under here. If I was as big, yeah, we'll do that. Anyways, I'll do a bit of research. I'll put together a lesson and I'll get that done. Bye. I'll give you the view of outside without me on it as we end this video. Bye, everybody.